It's 12:07 on Talk Radio 790 KABC. You're listening to The John Phillips Show. Johnny's on vacation. He'll be back on Monday. It's Randy Wang flying solo, broadcasting live from the Morongo Casino Resort and Spa Living Room Studios. The phone number to join us is 800-222-KABC, 1-800-222-5222. You can always email us. We try to read as many emails as we can on the air, and we try to read them off the air as well, the ones that are inappropriate. JohnnyDon'tLikeShow@gmail.com. That's JohnnyDon'tLikeShow@gmail.com. And if you'd like to follow me on social media, I'm on Twitter and Facebook, and I'm on Twitter and Instagram as Randy Wang Radio. So you can see pictures of the tuna puttanesca I made last night. Now, last night, huge report in Santa Monica, a city that, as we have seen, is a lot less safe than it used to be. A city that has Barbara Ferrer passing out needles in the parks where kids are supposed to be playing.
No, thank you.
And a city that used to have one of the fanciest, most beautiful outdoor malls around, the 3rd Street Promenade, which has gone way downhill in the last few years. Businesses have shuttered. The homeless have taken over. And yesterday, a city councilman in Santa Monica got attacked by a bum on the 3rd Street Promenade. For more, here's Fox 11.
New at 10, a Santa Monica councilman is attacked on the 3rd Street Promenade while enjoying a Sunday afternoon outing. That suspect, said to be a homeless man, was arrested on several charges. Fox 11's Ed Lascos live in Santa Monica with the story. Ed?
Oh, it's an Ed Lascos report. On top of that, you got Marla and Christine hosting at 10 o'clock. Nothing can go wrong here. Let's go.
And Christine, it's just the latest act of violence from the homeless to strike here on the sidewalks of Santa Monica, this time on the famed 3rd Street Promenade. It all goes down in
Look at how he emphasizes promenade. This guy is a legend.
And Christine, it's just the latest act of violence from the homeless to strike here on the sidewalks of Santa Monica, this time on the famed 3rd Street Promenade. It all goes down in broad daylight. But what makes this one different from all the rest? This one is the victim, the target, hits home. It's a well-known city lawmaker.
Stay down. Stay down.
Cell phone video shows the moments after the robbery. The homeless man turned suspect. He's down. He's being cuffed. And
honestly, if he wanted to take another career choice, this man would have been the best color commentator for boxing fights.
Cell phone video shows the moments after the robbery. The homeless man turned suspect. He's down. He's being cuffed. And the target of the violence is the man in the blue shirt. See him there? Recognize him? That's Santa Monica City Councilman Phil Brock.
The man was tearing flyers off of a boarded-up storefront, throwing them on.
What the hell happened at the 3rd Street Promenade? It's not just that it's a pain in the ass to park there. It's always been a pain in the ass to park there. But that's like some of the most beautiful real estate in the entire Southern California area. You can see the beach.
Throwing them on the ground. And I said, "Excuse me, sir, can you put that in our trash can right over there?" And then he exploded with bad language.
It goes down.
Hey, you tearing flyers off the boarded-off building, can you please, as you're tearing off the flyers, throw them in the trash and not litter? And that set off the crazy person.
Throwing them on the ground. And I said, "Excuse me, sir, can you put that in our trash can right over there?" And then he exploded.
Not even don't tear that crap down, just please don't litter. Santa Monica's dirty enough.
And then he exploded with bad language.
It goes down Sunday afternoon, right in the middle of the 3rd Street Promenade.
He tried to steal my hat 3 times. The first 2 times I wore him off because I was also on the phone with 911. The 3rd time he got it, he also pushed me 3 times.
It explodes and escalates from there, shoving, even the homeless man throwing something.
He threw some sort of liquid on me the first time, some sticky liquid, no idea.
I don't even want to speculate on what that was. But, yeah, I don't know if I'd ever be clean again. I'd have to shower 10 times after that encounter. Yeesh.
Santa Monica police rush in. The homeless man arrested, held on a 5150. That's a mental evaluation. Also facing a felony charge.
So in 48 hours, he'll be back out to terrorize the people of the 3rd Street Promenade.
Also facing a felony charge of robbery. It's the latest homeless crime to strike Santa Monica, a city dealing with its own crime and public safety issues, all tied, many claim, to the city and the millions of dollars it's spent on compassionate programs for the homeless.
Let's go.
But now, an ironic twist, as the latest city victim of a homeless crime is actually one of the city leaders.
You think it's going to change their policies at all towards the homeless, towards the blight? Probably not.
Who's now seen firsthand the concerns he's already heard from so many of those he represents.
Must be compassionate toward our business owners and toward our residents. I think this all interchanges. It can't be we're just going to help the people who are unhoused, because I also have people who are hearing and feeling those disturbances at their apartments.
Boy, this guy's absolutely singing the right tune. Yes, it's not just about taking care of our unhoused neighbors. It's about taking care of the residents, the upstanding citizens, the business owners, the taxpayers, the families that are terrorized by the nuts that you're not doing anything about. That's the right response. He gets an attaboy.
At their houses, at their businesses in the city.
Now live, luckily the councilman not hurt in all of this. He tells me he signed the arrest report himself, and that's something he's urging everybody to do if they're in that situation. Sign the arrest report to help police give them all the information they need to try to get these dangerous people off the streets.
Well, he's lucky he's in Santa Monica because it's a much smaller city that's got their own police department. If you're in the city of Los Angeles, you look at the Chatsworth Capriottis that had an armed robbery. It took police 48 minutes to respond. So chances are they're not going to be able to arrest anybody. Got a little problem there.
All the information they need to try to get these dangerous people off the streets. The councilman says it's really now up to the L.A. County DA's office to charge this suspect, and that is questionable, as we all know the controversy that surrounds the county DA's office and its sentencing policies. For now, we're live here in Santa Monica. Back to both of you we go.
Yes, and that is, of course, one of the major problems here is that we have a district attorney that doesn't believe in prosecuting anybody that's facing poverty.
We got some wobbly knees allies.
Doesn't matter if they're insane. Doesn't matter if they're violent and throwing sticky substances at city councilmen. George Gascon is going to do absolutely nothing about this, the way he does absolutely nothing about several different categories of quality of life crimes and misdemeanors that he does not feel are important. And yes, because it's the city of Santa Monica, the misdemeanors go to his office and he won't do anything about it.
Quite frankly.
But you know what? We have talked ad nauseum here about district attorneys not doing anything about this problem. I would like to introduce you to a district attorney in the state of California who is trying to do something about this problem in a very creative way. He just got elected last year after Anne Marie Schubert went to run for attorney general and lost. His name is Tin Ho. He was a 20-year prosecutor and was one of the guys that helped put away the Golden State Killer. He is now the Sacramento County DA, and he's got a fascinating new plan to deal with the homeless blight in the streets of Sacramento County, and I think we should copy this idea. For more, here is CBS Sacramento.
But first, the Sacramento County DA is taking the first steps toward a possible lawsuit against the city of Sacramento over the downtown homeless crisis.
Let's sue their pants off. Oh, wait, they don't have pants. Let's sue something else.
Thanks for joining us here at 6. I'm Tony Lopez.
And I'm Marley Ginter. The DA sent out a neighborhood nuisance questionnaire today to downtown neighbors and businesses, asking them to describe how the homeless encampments are impacting their businesses and lives.
CBS 13 investigative reporter Julie Watts is getting answers on what this means.
Well, the results of this survey could be used as evidence in a criminal or a civil suit alleging the city of Sacramento is violating nuisance laws by failing to enforce city ordinances that ensure health and safety.
I didn't know that was a thing. We can do this? This is a fantastic idea.
How many times do you think you've had?
Boy, don't you miss having a DA that wants to do something about crime and blight in the place that you live?
How many times do you think you've had to call 911?
About 20 times.
The owner of this popular downtown lunch spot asked us
20 times he's had to call 911. At that point, do you just put it on speed dial? Just dial 9 faster?
Asked us not to show his face.
Well, I had 3 times of vandalism.
You know what? He has, when he sees a crazy, shifty-eyed homeless person walk into the establishment, he dials 9-1, and then as soon as he sees something crazy, he dials 1 again.
Asked us not to show his face.
Well, I had 3 times of vandalism.
But he was happy to answer the questions on this neighborhood nuisance abatement questionnaire being circulated by the DA.
Have you been affected by homeless encampments?
They've been bothering the customers. They felt like they were threatening, but they had to come inside here and hide from them.
You've had customers have to hide from folks.
Yes.
That's one way to get new business. Hi, can I get you a sandwich? It's a perfect day for a pastrami. I'm actually hiding from the crazy person with the machete that's outside your establishment. But you know what? Seems like I'll be here for a while. Yeah, whip me up a sandwich.
Inside your business.
Yes.
He says his front door and window has been shattered 3 times and complains of public urination.
Yeesh! Oh, boy. These always take a turn, but even though you know it's coming, it's still always surprising. And it's always gross.
Here's the deal.
These are the types of stories the Sacramento DA is hoping to compile
I've opened an investigation,
as he considers suing the city of Sacramento
and we are gathering evidence
over the homeless encampments downtown.
to see whether or not the city of Sacramento has violated the law.
His biggest concern?
Let's talk about selective enforcement.
He notes CHP clears homeless encampments around the Capitol during the day, and the city clears the grounds around their offices at City Hall so they can get to work. But elsewhere, this is allowed to remain.
What I see...
That's right. We've all seen it. When they need to clear the encampment for something important, they do it. So they can enforce the law. They can enforce the ordinances when they want to. We've even seen this down here. When we had the big America's Conference at the Convention Center, there was a lot of cleaning up of the homeless encampments. When Karen Bass was going to be inaugurated here in Los Angeles and Kamala Harris was coming to town, it was going to be a big outdoor venue. They were planning on getting rid of the homeless encampments around the area. Then the activists pushed back and they said, oh, it's going to rain. We need to do it inside. But you know what? It can be done. And if it can be done, you're right. That is selective prosecution. This guy's good.
But elsewhere, this is allowed to remain.
What I see is selective enforcement, inconsistent enforcement, and that simply needs to change.
Just last week, he says one of his employees was attacked by an unhoused man near the courthouse, and a court reporter was attacked last month. This is what we saw on a recent walk with the DA around the courthouse. Feces, alcohol bottles, drug paraphernalia.
This is not humane for people to live this way.
And remember, this is the same courthouse where the Homeless Union nonprofit, not an actual union, claims that it's inhumane to say that we can't have these encampments near the courthouse interacting with the criminal justice system.
Feces, alcohol bottles, drug paraphernalia.
This is not humane for people to live this way.
He cites several recent lawsuits where cities were successfully sued for failing to abate a public nuisance caused by homelessness, or for failing to address tents breaking disability access laws.
That's right. They did this in Phoenix. They did this in Portland. Even Portland is starting to do something about this. Well, we'll see. But it's a first step. But yes, you can absolutely, for all of the... And we've all heard of the attorney trolls that go to different establishments, seeing if they've got a proper wheelchair ramp, trying to file a lawsuit based on Americans with Disabilities Act. Well, look at any street corner in Los Angeles. Look at Hollywood. Look at Gower, specifically that off-ramp at the 101 freeway. And you know what? I believe you could file a lawsuit against the city because there's no way anyone with a wheelchair is getting anywhere around there. They've got to go to the middle of the street. In fact, right under the freeway overpass there, somebody had to go out into the middle of the street because the entire street was blocked by the homeless, and they got run over.
To allow people to camp at night, but not during the daytime. Another option is, if you allow someone to camp, is to keep your property inside the tent.
He's now asking anyone who lives, works, or visits downtown to fill out this survey. In a statement, the city of Sacramento said today it's working urgently and diligently to address the current homelessness crisis. And
I wouldn't say urgently. I definitely wouldn't say diligently. Maybe you're working at it, but not fast enough.
Crisis in all its complexities, noting they've responded to more than 300 calls for service involving people experiencing homelessness in the area during the month of June alone. Adding the city council will be reviewing and discussing the city's response protocols in the coming weeks. But in the meantime,
I'm just hoping, cross my finger.
That's all many can do.
Now, sources at the city of Sacramento note that several businesses and community members are considering separate suits against the city. They would likely all be consolidated into one case with the DAs should any of these suits move forward.
We have seen urgency at the level of the city council and the county board of supervisors down here in Los Angeles. They've declared a state of emergency, but things still aren't moving fast enough. There are still dangerous encampments, including naked ones, that pop up, and nothing seems to get done about them until the local news covers them. So maybe this is the right approach. Maybe we need to sue the crap out of the city and the county for not enforcing the laws that they have on the books, because you're not allowed to just park your ass anywhere you want on a public street. Not allowed to do that. We've got plenty of these ordinances on the books. How about all the public health crises? We're talking about all the sea animals that are getting destroyed because of the toxic algae on the beach. How about all the toxic waste that's on our streets? There's got to be something that can be done about this, and maybe it's time we get the attorneys involved. But the first step of this is exactly what the Sacramento County District Attorney did. He sent out a neighborhood nuisance abatement questionnaire. So families, business owners, people residing in the city of Sacramento got a questionnaire in their mailbox. Like, if you've been affected by a current homeless encampment, where is it? How long have you been affected by this homeless encampment? Have you observed any activity that you would describe as illegal, including but not limited to assault, theft, narcotics offenses, or as nuisance activity like obstructing a sidewalk, burning material on any pavement, illegal dumping at or near the encampment? Has anyone threatened, intimidated, or harassed you while at the encampment? Did you report this to 911? If you did the police respond? Did you report this to 311? Have you ever contacted an elected official about these conditions? If you have children, staff members, or customers, do you feel it's safe around the property? Do you think the subject, properly in its present condition, has a negative impact on the neighborhood? Now, we could send out this questionnaire to everybody listening to this radio station, but we don't need to do that, because we've got a phone number. So if we need to build up evidence that we can submit to an attorney to file a class action lawsuit against the city and the county for not doing enough about the homeless problem, well, then we're going to need some evidence. We're going to need some witness stories. We're going to need to document it. So now I'm going to give you that opportunity right now at 800-222-KABC, 1-800-222-5222. Whether it's been around your neighborhood, around your small business, how has the homeless encampments negatively impacted your life? What is some of the illegal nuisance activity that you've seen? I want your witness statements right here, right now. 800-222-KABC, 1-800-222-5222. Let's get a lawsuit together. I don't need to cash in on this. We just want to force the city and the county to do what we know they can do. The district attorney of Sacramento County is compiling data for a lawsuit against the city and county over their inaction on homeless encampments. So he sent out a neighborhood nuisance abatement questionnaire to residents and business owners asking about homeless encampments that they've seen, activity that they've seen that's illegal, like assault, theft, narcotics offenses, nuisance activity like obstructing a sidewalk, lighting things on fire, illegal dumping, nudity, if people have been threatened, if people have been harassed. He wants everyone to document this information so he can compile it for a lawsuit. We can do that down here in Los Angeles County, and we've got the phone number to do it. So tell me some of the crazy things you've seen at these homeless encampments. What have you witnessed? 800-222-KABC, 1-800-222-5222. Let's start with Susan in Santa Clarita. Susan, you're on the John Phillips Show. Hello.
Hey. Yeah, I own a cleaning company with my husband. We've owned it for 35 years. We clean buildings from Santa Monica and Venice all the way to downtown LA. I could literally write a book with pictures of what I see. Yesterday, God forbid, I had to get off at Cahuenga on my way home from downtown LA to get gas. And what I see under the freeway is people passed out on drugs. I go up to the next street on Cahuenga to get back on the 101, and there's a trash can that somebody threw in the middle of the street that the city left, I guess, for people to actually throw trash in, like law-abiding people. And someone had taken it and thrown it in the middle of the street, blocking both lanes, and I almost put my car in park and got out. and moved it so that there wouldn't be a 4 or 5 car pileup because it was on a hill around a corner right there by the 101. But I could tell you the things that we are asked to clean up and visuals. I get emails with pictures of feces on buildings that my janitors are supposed to clean up that never used to be an issue. But people can't
gosh.
poop in it.
Unfortunately,
they have to do it in a wall.
Unfortunately, these problems are a growth industry for you.
Yeah, literally. It's really sad. So LA deserves better. Downtown LA is insane. I could tell you stories of getting off at 9th Street, where I usually get off to go to a couple of buildings, and the group of men that are there at the red light trying to clean your window, but there's a group of them, and they're rather aggressive. So the police finally got involved, but it took 2 months. They put traffic people there for a week. They're now gone. A new group of men came. They finally got kicked out. But we're outnumbered. And the thing that's really interesting, and my progressive friends and coworkers, they feel the same way I do. We can't figure out the anger that is there's an angry behavior pattern here. So,
well, a lot of the anger is fueled by meth.
Yeah, there you go. Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think this is a partisan issue either. I think everyone is, freaked out about the public safety problems that are being exacerbated by the city and county doing nothing about these encampments. And you just mentioned 2 of the off-ramps. There are several off-ramps in the Hollywood area and downtown where I am scared to death. I make sure my door is locked. I don't want to stay there too long because it is freaky.
No, absolutely. And 9th Street was horrible during COVID, you guys. It was literally lined up. It literally looked like it was a place where people were dropping off. I mean, it was just lined up the whole underneath. It's terrible. We shouldn't be living like this. And the people that live in downtown, I feel bad for those folks. But some people can't afford to move elsewhere. And so it's not a partisan issue. It is not.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for the call, Susan. Okay. Appreciate it. 800-222-KABC is the phone number, 1-800-222-5222. We are asking for the crazy homeless things that you have witnessed. The district attorney of Sacramento has sent out a questionnaire asking if you've observed activity that you would describe as illegal, like assault, theft, narcotics offenses, obstructing a sidewalk, burning material, illegal dumping. What are some of the crazy things? Have you been intimidated? Have you been harassed? Whether you're a resident, you're a homeowner, or you're a business owner, we want to hear your stories so we can do what the Sacramento County DA is doing and sue the city and county for their inaction, because there is plenty of things that are on the books that they're not enforcing. 800-222-KABC, 1-800-222-5222. Let's go to Ben in Ladera Heights. Ben, you're on the John Phillips Show. Let's go.
Hello. As you know, Ladera Heights is a really very beautiful community, big houses, manicured lawns. It's at the edge of Culver City and Westchester, and there's a homeless encampment right up on the city side. So the county side is pretty clean, but the homeless RV encampment is growing and spreading. And one dangerous thing that what I believe is a pretty chill group of RV encampers is criminals come and are attracted to the environment because they're hiding and they're also after drugs. So there was an old man, 80-year-old, in front of the Amazon Fresh store. He was confronted by some kind of a drug-addicted gang member, and the old man just pulled out a gun and blew his head up. It was a news item.
Oh, my God.
And I think this is going to – yeah, it was reported on the news. I don't know what happened, but the witnesses say that it went on for about 10, 15 minutes. There was no security, and this – attack against senior citizens, wealthy African Americans is happening all over Ladera Heights. I witnessed this in front of Home Depot. And I think that if the county and the city don't do anything, there is no reason to keep investing in our area. Everybody has to leave. When I called Kerwin Price's office a year and a half ago when he was still in office, his aide said that they had never even talked to experts on homelessness, ever.
No, of course not. For them, it's about how can we get a bunch of money to spend and spend it in places where we can do favors for people that are going to do favors for us. But do they want to actually do anything about solving the problem? People like Curran Price have been even before the indictment, have been in office forever and ever and ever, not just at the city council level, but the state level. And have they done anything to solve the problem? The problem has gotten magnifiably worse under their jurisdiction.
Well, I have a background in urban planning. I have been studying all the solutions to homelessness all around the country and the world. And there are ways to deal with this that are cost-free. There are ways to do it that actually help transform lives and create sustainable systems, not a group of new age housing projects that we know destroyed in Chicago. People didn't take care of them. Why? There was too much drugs, no pride in ownership, no incentives.
Well, that's what we're seeing right now with, the Project Room Keys, the Home Keys, and even Inside Safe is we're putting everybody in these motels, and we're liable for all the destruction of those motels.
Well, I know that one of the greatest urban planners of our time, Ken Topping, worked for the city of Los Angeles. And I know that there are people inside the city who absolutely know how to do this. And I don't think Karen Bass is talking to anybody with knowledge. So I don't think she has a plan. I don't think we're going to see an end to this until we get somebody who knows what they're doing. I was hoping Caruso would win. He's a developer, for gosh sakes.
Unfortunately, he didn't even come close in that. Thank you so much for the call, Ben. Appreciate it. 800-222-KABC is the phone number. Claudia, you're on the John Phillips Show. Hello.
Hi. So I live in Northeast Los Angeles, and I've noticed how there's encampments near and around schools. I actually was on a news broadcast in Los Angeles not too long ago in regards to this. So there's an encampment near a school, and it's gotten larger. So what I did is I called our council member, Eunice Hernandez, and I don't know if you know, they never take your calls or emails. So I already did the footwork for her, which I called the city and made the complaint. And then when I did the complaint, they said, make sure to contact your councilman's office and let them know that they're not supposed to be having encampments across the school. So now I have to follow up. And just kind of want to make a mention to your listeners that they can do the same in the city. Well, supposedly they're supposed to go out to your councilman's office and put a notice of the ordinance that there's not supposed to be encampments near the school. So, again, I have to follow up, but it's like we're doing the footwork for them, and then they never respond or, take your calls or emails, and it's just very frustrating. But, again, we just need to do that. And another note is also that the LAPD will be able to go out there and, enforce it. But as you know, it does take time, and I've done this before many of times. And again, it's across the school across the schools, and this is it's not the right place for them to be when there's children in the area and families.
Well, and one of the things that's so frustrating is just depending on what part of the city you live in. You live in Eunice Hernandez's district. Yeah. She happens to be one of the members of the city council that does not want to enforce the ordinances that are on the books, like making sure there's not an encampment anywhere near a school. So what happens is, you're right. You have to do the footwork. You have to complain to the city council, complain to the city, but then the city council member has to bring up that specific encampment for a vote on the city council floor. If she doesn't do that, then the police can't enforce the ordinance. It's absolute nonsense, bureaucratic insanity. Nobody seems to be caring about the urgency or the safety about having something that's to a school.
Exactly. So another thing I just want to mention, if you do go forward with that, can you please keep us posted? Because, again, I already have the paperwork and emails, and that would be great. I'd like to be a part of it. Thank you.
Absolutely. We're gonna explore this idea. If they can do it in Sacramento County, there's no reason they can't do it here. Thank you so much for the call. 1-800-222-5222. You can follow me on social media on Instagram or Twitter at Randy Wang Radio and see all of my food porn pictures. And you can email us at johnnydon'tlikeshow@gmail.com. That's johnnydon'tlikeshow@gmail.com. We got a whole bunch of emails this hour. Let's go ahead and read some of them. This one comes from Travis. We opened talking about the Santa Monica City Councilman that got attacked by a homeless man at the 3rd Street Promenade. Hey, Randy, so glad you ran the Phil Brock piece. I live right at the beach at South Santa Monica. In the last 3 months, the neighbors to either side of me have been broken into in the early hours by homeless meth heads. The neighbor 2 doors down was cold-cocked on Main Street in broad daylight. Another neighbor 2 streets over got into a fight with a meth head who was threatening his 2 small children and his dogs. When the Santa Monica PD responded to my neighbors getting broken into, I asked them what we could do to fix this. Their answer, and here's what they had to say, is it's where you live now, get used to it. Or one of the police officers said, this is what happens when you vote Democrat. Vince writes in at johnnydon'tlikeshow@gmail.com. Why stop at trying to enforce homelessness laws in LA County? How about we try to contest all the laws that are on the books, like the ones that Gascon doesn't want to enforce? You mean like trespassing and drug abuse and a whole bunch of other things? That's a fantastic idea. Interestingly enough, do you know who is supposed to keep the DAs in line for not following the law? The Attorney General. However, the Attorney General, Rob Bonta, is as much of a hack as George Gascon, so that's not going to happen anytime soon. Melinda writes in at johnnydon'tlikeshow@gmail.com. Hey, Randy, just take a look at Street People of Los Angeles on Instagram. They'll give you all the evidence we need. There are Facebook groups devoted to this, too. I follow Street People of Los Angeles, people of Metro LA, and I can't even watch the videos for too long because some of them are horrifying. But yes, there is daily documented evidence of the absolute madness out there. And Gary writes in at johnnydon'tlikeshow@gmail.com. Hey, Randy, I've lived within walking distance of the promenade for nearly 30 years. You couldn't pay me to go there now. While I have known Phil Brock for years, he's become feckless, naive, and totally ineffective. The only time I felt safe downtown in Santa Monica in recent years is when Villanueva had his deputies patrolling. Yeah, that's definitely not happening right now. So it's Randy Wang here. You can always email us at johnnydon'tlikeshow@gmail.com. Curtis sent this during the break. Hey, John Phillips and Randy Wang, big fan of the Fix California show. Last night on Jeopardy, a player asked for fish for $800. A picture of Karen Bass popped up. Nobody knew who the hell she was. Such a long pause. LMAO. In the 3-minute commercial break, scoured and scoured and scoured. I could not find that clip, but that doesn't mean I'm going to stop looking.
If you're feeling down, if you're feeling blue, let's get help for you.
You know, we haven't talked about her in a minute. I think in the 2 o'clock hour, we're going to open up. She just did an interview with the Radio Korea guys over at 1540 a.m., so we will get into that. And up in San Francisco, London Breed did a podcast. And both of them got asked about the failures of the cities that they manage.
I couldn't agree with you more.
Oh, Karen Bass, you can rhyme.
Landowners, just take one, just take two, and we'll work with you.
And you're definitely better than this jackass.
Just be smart and stay apart.
But I still think we can do better. I want her to do better. We all should want her to succeed. So let's get moving and take this stuff seriously. It's the John Phillips Show. In the 1 o'clock hour, Doug McIntyre joins us. It's finally here. His book comes out today. He's going to be at the Grove at the Barnes & Noble from 7 to 9. We'll talk to him about that and, of course, all the madness going on here in Southern California. It is the John Phillips Show. It's Randy Wang here on Talk Radio 790 KABC.
Oh, you're so optimistic.